Alright, cool. Okay, so today I'm going to be covering pipes from Angular. Okay, so for those of you who don't know, Angular is a JavaScript framework that lets you create single-page applications, right? If you want to know more about that, go read up the documentation, and yeah. I've already covered that session. But today I'm going to be covering pipes. So pipes are a way that you can transform data in Angular. Whatever data you want to display as dynamic as possible. I'm currently working on Campus Life. I'm creating CMS there, and I'm using pipes like it's no tomorrow. I'm just chucking them in wherever I can. They're very fun to work with. Yeah. So I'm just gonna show you. I think if I just minimize this. Okay. Very cool. Alright, so I hope you guys can see. Right here. Very cool. So these are generally the. Okay, by the way, this is the Angular site. So this is where you find the docs. And basically, these are the built-in pipes. So you got your date pipe, your synthesizer pipe, which allows you to do uppercase and lowercase. And then, but today, we're going to try and explore these pipes, and then also try to create one ourselves. So. Yeah. Alright, cool. For those of you that have been attending the sessions, you probably know how to create this default app. So if you have one, you can just follow along if you can. Right now, there's just one more command I need to run here, and then this will be set up. I'm supposed to just install this bootstrap here. Yeah. Yeah, and then we'll be good to go. Alright, cool. So I've created a demo app that we're going to play with. I'm pretty sure you guys will maybe grasp what I'm trying to explain today. What pipes? It's going a bit slow, but it's fine. Alright, cool. This while this is installed, let's just explore this app. Okay, for my CS file, I've got nothing here. There's quite a bit going on in here. Let me just minimize this. So there's quite a bit going on here. As you can see here, my header has an app status, and then here I'm cycling through the amount of servers that I have in my TypeScript code, and then I'm dynamically displaying here using string interpolation. Yeah. And as you can see here, I have an array of servers right here. And I got this method here that accepts a type of and then in the curly brackets, I'm able to dynamically express what the type of object I'm going to be passing through. So, mind you, this could be a name of a class instead of how I did it here, but you can also alternatively do this. And then, and as you can see here, just like I told you guys, if it's before the equal sign, it's a if it's before the equal sign, you are assigning a tag to it. If it's after, you are assigning a value. And as you can see here, this is a method to add more servers to that array. Okay, let's run this. So
I think servers was really that easy.
And then let's say, okay, so this is a command to spin up our local web server, and this attribute here is to tell Angular to spin up a browser for us. So we'll do this, it'll build. Alright, cool. I'll try and do something here. Let's just see. No. Okay, cool. So our our forms module is not installed. That's why it's giving us this problem. So we'll just come back here, and then we'll just say in our module here, we'll just see. Okay, and then we'll just say forms module. Hopefully it installed for me. Guess it won't. And then we get our forms mod. Okay, let me say from adding the forms. Yeah. Cool. Should just work. Seem to have remembered our. Okay. Our style is not mapped correctly. That's fine. Okay, cool. So, as you can see here, we displaying data from our server array. Let's see here. So if we come here, so every instance for our server has a name, a status, where when the server was created, and also the instance type, which means like how big is the server or something. Is it large, medium, or small, or whatever. And then, okay, so what I'm going to try and do here is I'm going to try and use a pipe to transform our data. So this status here, it seems to be all small letters. So what I'd like to do, I'd like for it to be all uppercase. So what I'll do is I'll just simply come here, and since I know that we have built-in what you call this, pipes. So if I could just come here and say uppercase. Okay, let's try. Okay. Save. Very cool. As you can see here, it's all uppercase. The styling is not really working out. All this should be blue and stuff. Let me see if I can just fix this quickly. Oh, cool. So, and as you can see here, this data is not really displaying.
You can have your server starting in that.
Right. So, what I want to try and do is I want to try and format this in a because that's the whole data object. So I want to try and format this into a much more appealing format. So we can just come here into our HTML. So when using the date pipe, you can pass in a string which you can format your date object, and what you do is you'd say date, and then you'd pass in the string here that you want to format it to. So there is. Oh, I can't go back now. But so there's a preset of dates that you could pass in. You can pass in your own custom, what you call this, your custom format, but you can also just pass in these shorthand dates. So you can just say full date, and then it should format it like that. And then you can say short date, and then it should be much shorter than that. But I'm not sure. If you say short date, alright. So, and also, pretty sure you can just pass in the format that you want it to be in. So maybe you can say year, I think it's capital M, and then day. I think you can do that. Yeah. So yeah. So and then there is and then you can do lowercase. So as you can see here, this starts with a capital letter, and then lower and then lowercase letters. So you can transform this into lowercase. So I think that's my name of server. So you can do the same thing that we did there for status, and you can just say lower case. So yeah. Okay, so there's so much limitations on these built-in pipes. So the reason why there's so little amount of them is because Angular actually wants you to create your own. And today what we're going to do is we're going to try and create 2 pipes. So one, we're going to try and shorten something. So as you can see here, the number of letters for our server name is it varies, and so what I want to do is I want to make sure that it's aligned properly. So I want to limit the amount of letters that you can that our server name can be. So we're gonna create our own pipe. Okay, and we're just going to say here, okay, so if you want to create your own pipe, you're going to be using the CLI to do this. You're going to say ng, and you say generate, shorthand, you'll say G, and then pipe, shorthand P, and then the name of the pipe, or but the string that the CLI is expecting is the path to your pipe. So if you want your pipe to be in, say, you've already maybe created a component here that says classroom or something, then you'd specify saying classroom / whatever the name of your pipe is, and then the CLI will generate that and name your pipe correctly. So here we want to create a pipe called shorten, because we want to shorten that text, and then if you do that, right, it's created here. And also you can see here there's a test file here with boilerplate unit tests. If you can look at that, maybe. Alright, cool. So this is what we get. Okay, so what we are given is so here the value is okay, so since we're going to be transforming the name of the server, so the name of the server is going to come through there, right? But at times there are additional things that you'd want to do, right? And there are additional dynamic things that you'd want the pipe to do. Say you don't want to shorten it to a specific length. So what you do is you'd pass in an input of how short would you want it to be. Okay, but before that, so this is the name of the pipe. So basically, this is where you specify the alias for it. So let's just name this appropriately, and then we'll say this is the limit. And we'll say this is the limit, and then we want to actually we want the pipe to always have this limit here, so we won't make it optional. And we want to strongly type this to a number. And obviously we're going to be transforming strings, and we want to return a string. Yeah. So before we do anything, let's just see how we can implement this in our HTML. So if we come here, very cool. Right, so this pipe here, what it's doing is that it's transforming the server name into lowercase letters. So what it's doing then, it returns a string. So what I can do with that is that I know that I can also put another pipe in here that will receive that same string, and could just receive that string and then shorten that string, that transform string. So we can pass in here, say we just want it to be, I don't know, 10 letters. We'll see how well that works, and then maybe we can adjust. Let's see if there's any errors. No, it seems to be running fine. It's fine. Very cool. So let's go back to, okay. So what we want to do is we want to accept a limit. So we'll just come in here and declare a say let let's say shortened name. Okay, so here we'll just check if the value that we're getting is greater than the limit that we want it to be. Because if it's less, then we don't need to actually shorten it. So if it's greater than the limit, then return a substring. That's how you do it. Then we'll start from and then end at the limit of the, and then just to make this, I don't know, pretty, we'll add this ellipsis here. And then I don't want to use this now. So if the value is null, then I'll just return a default value of whatever type that is. So in this case, we'll just return that short name.
But why do you need a variable for it? Variables are maybe not use them.
So yeah, then maybe put a space there. I don't know. Okay, let's see if this works. Oh, it's not running. Cool. So seems to be working. Very cool. So another thing that I want us to do is, oh yeah, just like I said, you can transform. You can transform a transformation. So here you can just say uppercase if you wanted to. This is a I'll use yeah, but another thing that I want us to do we have time? I want us to create something that will filter this array. Yeah, so now it's all uppercases. So I want to create something that will filter this array depending on what we put in this text box. I hope I can do this as quickly as I can. Very cool. As you know, we do this ng generate pipe, and then we'll call this filter. Right, so then we'll say, so this is our filter pipe. You can put in as many parameters as you want in there. Yeah, as long as you put them in order that you would declare them here, it should be fine. You can put as many as you want. I haven't tried that many, but you can put as many as you want. Very cool. Then you can just say here, So it'll be a value. Yes. Okay. Cool. So what we want to pass through here is a couple of things, right? We want to pass in the value. So this will be the array that we're trying to filter, and then also what we want to pass in is the value at which we want to filter with, and the field that we want to filter on. So we're just going to say here, maybe say just server field. Actually, yeah. Okay, that's fine. Of type string, and then we also want to pass in the value that we want to be filtered. So we just say here filter value. Let me just say string. And then record. So obviously for values now, values now just return an empty array. What? So my type is this guy. So this is my type. So yeah, I could just say that. And then, so over here I could just say, so I want to filter this array. So we're just going to say value, and we want to specify the field. So we'll come in here and say filter field. Oh, wait, sorry, server field, and then I'll say, am I doing this right? So, and then we'll say if this field is to the filter type, if I can spell, filter value, then sorry. So we want to cycle through these values. So we'll just say 4, and then we'll declare. Let me say server. Let's symbolize off of this type. It's servers of this type. Of servers Just value. Just say that. Then yeah, we'll just say push. And of course, just return servers. Just format this. Cool. So, okay, cool. So it's gonna come in here and get the servers array. In here, we're gonna cycle through them. So through each server, we're gonna say this field, if it equals to that, then add it to our own local variable here, and then return the filter stuff. So how do we implement this? We come in here. Let's go to our state. Let's go to our servers. So we'll come in here and say, put in the pipe here, and we'll say, so you don't have to specify the value. You say filter, and then you can say the value. So we want to filter on status. And filter on status, and we want to filter on whatever variable that we put in there. So this variable from here, bam, cool. I want to do this cool thing where instead of it, because it's going to be abrupt, so instead of me saying equals, I'm just going to say if it contains. So I'll say index of that guy, is greater than -1. That's how you do contains in JavaScript. So yeah, you'll just see. So you'll see this dynamically change. Let's if I did this right. I'm not running it. Let's see, you serve. Cool. So, if I start typing here, you'll see that offline just started disappearing. So if I say S T A B, wait, so I typed the wrong thing, it went away, but it's still correct because it's this text is still contained in the stable text, so it appears. So every time I'm wrong, it disappears. So if I say E here, it should just go away. And if it's still there, if I say offline, will only be there. So yeah. Then you can. So yeah. That's it, yeah. Yeah, that's it, guys. Hope you guys learned something. So yeah.
Just one question.
Yeah, what's up?
What happens if your array is undefined instead of none? So you only did the validation for none on your filter.
Oh, then you'd have to do validation for that as well. So in my case, it was just that's all. Yeah. Any more questions, guys? Any more questions? No, cool. You guys understood? Right, so what are pipes? Explain to me. Right. Thanks, guys. Nice having you.